Hello and welcome to the Warhammer 40k show. So, my Warhammer 40k show. So today we're going to be taking a look at the Admech faction focus, and we're also going to have a little look at there was a little gaunt, something on the gaunts, which I'd like to take a look at as well. So let's start off with the Adeptus Mechanicus. Have we got anyone in the chat? We got one. Okay, so let's start on. Oh, we have a Discord, which the link is in the description. So if you'd like to come and join the Discord, feel free. Just talking about 40k, sharing pictures of models. There's just generally talking 40k. Drutavian, Barb Gaunts and Neuro Gaunts. Yes, that is what I want to talk about. But we're going to talk about the Admech first. So, let's have a look at these bad boys. The Priesthood of Mars. Admech are forced to take their defense into their own hands. Pincers and prehensile mechadendrites. The Tyranids are quite happy to devour what flesh remains, and the loss of any forge world would spell disaster for the Imperium's war effort. Okay. Let's have a look. The Adeptus Mechanicus remains one of the premier shooting armies in Warhammer 40,000, with their distinctive technology giving them all of the tricks on the battlefield. In particular, the brilliant tactical skills of the tech priests improve battle line units in close proximity, working together as a cohesive whole, just like the great machines of Mars. Okay, Doctrina. Doctrina imperatives. At the start of the battle round, you can select one of the Doctrina imperatives below. Until the end of the battle round, that Doctrina imperative is active for your army, and all units from your army that have Doctrina imperatives ability gain the relevant abilities shown below. Protector imperative, you get ranged weapons equipped by models in this unit have the heavy ability, so you get +1 if you don't move. That's quite nice. +1 to hit if you don't move. Then we have, each time a ranged attack targets this unit, if this unit is within your deployment zone, worsen the armor penetration characteristic of that attack by 1. So you're basically getting Armor of Contempt, but in your own deployment zone, which is nice for early days survival. You know, round 1, round 2, when you might have some stuff in your deployment zone. Conqueror imperative. Ranged weapons equipped by models in this unit have the assault ability, so you can start moving and shooting, or advancing and shooting. Each time a model in this unit makes a ranged attack, if the target of that attack is within your opponent's deployment zone, improves the armor penetration characteristic of attack by 1. Okay, so we've got like a sit back and sort of defend imperative, like the protector one, and the conquer imperative is the attacking imperative. So extra AP and all of that. So that's nice. So far, army rules, nice. And you select it at the start of the battle round, so you can go from one to the other. Nice. Doctrina imperatives let you adapt to the enemy battle plan, either by shoring up your defences early on or going on the knockout blow against a foe playing too safe. I mean, getting the extra AP is pretty huge. Obviously, it only be in your opponent's deployment zone, though, so it is a little bit situational, but it is nice. Rad Bombardment Detachment Rule. This is the perfect way to throw plans into disarray and deny backline objective, as the fallout punishes anyone who think they'll be safe holding the fort. So, whether as a result of natural phenomena, apocalyptic internecine strife, or a calamitous accidents, many forge rods are heavily irradiated. I'm glad the Conqueror wasn't melee attacks. Oh, Drutavian, that's a good point. Oh, range attack. Yeah, I agree. I like that. Harley, enjoy the mortals for sitting in deployment with this rule. Okay, bombardment. At the start of the first battle round, for each enemy unit within your deployment zone, opponent's deployment zone, sorry, your opponent must decide whether that unit will take cover or stand firm. If a unit takes cover until the end of the battle round, that unit is battle shocked, which basically makes them useless as far as I can remember. So you're probably not going to do that unless taking the mortals is killing your unit. If a unit stands firm, roll 1d6, and for that unit, on a 3+, that unit suffers D3 mortal wounds. Okay, so it's on a 3+, so it's not auto D3 mortal wounds. I mean, it's nice, a little sort of pre-game bombardment. And then battle round 2 onwards, fallout. Okay, so this is like the bomb comes down and then there's like the radiation fallout. Nice. At the start of the 2nd, 3rd, 4th and 5th battle rounds, roll 1d6 for each enemy unit within your opponent's deployment zone. On a 3+, that unit suffers 1 mortal wound. So basically, if you're playing Admech, get the fuck out of the deployment zone. Or be Necrons and then just, they do their thing and then you get command phase and then you just heal back up. Although it's the start of the battle round, so to be fair, if Admech go first, they get to do that. Then they get to shoot at you and then you get to heal. So yeah, maybe not quite as good as I first would have thought for Necrons, but yeah, nice rule. I mean, it's very strong, very strong. Drutavian, can't fall back, hold objectives or use strats. Oh yes, for the battle shocked. So yeah, so can't fall back, hold. I mean, not being able to hold objectives is quite bad. And using strats if there's something you want to do, but I suppose it's not too bad. Turn 1, you might just get battle shocked, apart from like maybe one unit that you want to hold your own objective. If they're the only 3 things it really affects, then it might be worth just taking the hit on being battle shocked. Really, what do you guys think? So yeah, I mean, great little rule. Detachment rule seems nasty. You don't know what the other detachments are. It might be the least taken one for all we know, you know. Okay, so moving on to Skitarii Skitarii Vanguard. Movement 6, T3, 5 up save. I think that's gone from a 4 up to a 5 up. If I remember rightly. I'm pretty sure I remember Harley rolling a lot of 4s. Well, actually, probably 2 ups by the time that they finished getting cover and doing all this other stuff. 1 wound, leadership 7, which seems to be the middle of the road leadership. OC2, which for battle lines seems pretty standard. Okay. Archaeotech pistol has devastating wounds, strength 6, -1 damage. So they're weapon skill 4 on all these. But they would go down to 3 if they use that heavy rule, but then you can't move. Plasma Caliver standard. So that's pretty much just standard plasma now, 30-inch range, 2 attacks. Radium Carbine, anti-infantry 4+. So that means it wounds on a 4+. Harley, yeah, worse save, so I was right. Some rules stop working, like the enhanced reanimation protocol for Crons, if they aren't in control of an objective within range of the warriors. It's a powerful ability but manageable. Yeah, I see what you're saying, Drutavian, yeah. So you wouldn't get the D3+3 ability on the warriors. Reanimation. Auto wound on 4s. Only 18-inch range on the Radium Carbines. Was that the same as it was before, Harley? But they're strength 3, 0 AP, 1 damage, but you're auto wounding on 4s, so not bad. Auto wounding, yeah, auto wounding on 4s. So Transuranic Arquebus, which is the sniper, which has got heavy and precision. I'm hoping they're going to tell us what precision means. 36-inch range, strength 7, -2 D3 damage. So it is the sniper. So precision, I'm gathering, is sort of like the lookout, sir. I mean, I'm gathering you can precision is going to allow you to snipe characters. Alpha combat weapon, strength 5, -1/1 damage to attacks, and then the close combat weapon, which is just the standard strength 3, 0p 1 damage. Yeah, exact same. Arc rifle is good, but +2 strength. Oh, okay, the arquebus is +2 strength, so it's used to be strength 5, now it's strength 7, -2 d3. So it seems quite nice. Okay, rad saturation aura. While an enemy unit, excluding vehicle units, is within 3 inches of this unit, subtract 1 from the objective control characteristic of that model unit. That is nice. I really like that. Great little rule. Enhanced data tether. Each time you select the bearer's unit as the target of a stratagem, no arc rifle. Oh, the arc rifle. Oh, okay. So the arc rifle was strength 4 or strength 6 because there's 2. Oh, no, that's an archaic pistol. Arc rifle. Okay, so it was strength 6 before. It's now strength 8, -1 d3. I completely looked over that, I think. 30-inch range, anti-vehicle 4+, and devastating wounds. Ooh, that's nice. Yeah. I mean, it's only 1 shot, so it's not that nice. So can everyone have an arc rifle, can they? Hardy? Yeah, I mean, that looks really, really good. Other war gear abilities. Enhanced data tether. Each time you select the bearer's unit as the target of a stratagem, roll 1d6, and on a 5+ you gain 1 CP. Very nice. Omnispecs. Ranged weapons equipped with an Omnispecs, basically you ignore cover. And they've got a 6-up invuln, which they've pretty much always had. 2 per unit, and they're rapid fire 1. Okay, yeah, so 2 at 15-inch range. Yeah, that's quite nice. Would be better if you could take like 10 in a unit, though, wouldn't it, Harley? Okay, so they've got the Doctrina Imperatives and then Infantry Battle Line Imperium Skitarii Vanguard, as in the keywords. Battle line squads, you can take twice as many Skitarii Vanguard and Rangers as other units in your army. But the benefits don't stop there. Several other Adeptus Mechanicus units have abilities that improve when they're near their battle line comrades, such as Sicari and Ruststalkers, who double their bonus to movement and charge distances from optimized gate. This gives Adeptus Mechanicus infantry the feeling of a well-oiled machine. Okay, so you sort of like, you're giving buffs off to other units of being in the proximity. I mean, yeah, it feels like maybe how like it's sort of almost making it out to be like a big hive mind, like one working machine, you know, going through the whole machine stuff. Okay, Sicari and Ruststalkers, optimized gate. Add 1 to advance and charge rolls made for this unit. When the unit is within 6 inches of 1 or more friendly Adeptus Mechanicus, add 2 to advance and charge rolls made for this unit. That's very nice. 2 to advance and charge is massive. I mean, if you're dropping him from Deep Strike within 6 inches of a Mechanicus battle line unit, then you can add 2 to your charge. So you're charging on 7. That is tasty. Very tasty. I mean, we don't know what their profile is yet. They could be terrible, but looks tasty in terms of the reliability of getting into combat. Okay, old Belisarius, cool. Big Bell. Okay, so he has movement 6 inches. Yeah, but making them assault weapons, so advance and shoot with them into your deployment makes them so -2. Ah, okay, yeah. Drutavian cogs in the machine. Exactly, Drutavian. They're all cogs in the big machine. So toughness 8 on cool, which is nice. 2-up save, again nice. 10 wounds. He's feeling a bit Primarch-ish. Leadership 6, OC 3, not quite Primarch. So he has the Solar Atomizer, Blast Melter D3, D3 shots, 2+, Strength 14, -4, 3 damage. Nice gun. Nice little gun just to shoot someone in the face. And then he has the Arc Scourge melee weapon. Anti-vehicle 4+, devastating wounds, and extra attack. So this is just an extra weapon. He's got 2 extra weapons. So attacks 4, 2 up weapon skill, strength 5, -1/1 damage. So it's alright. Not bad against infantry. And then Calls Omniscient Axe is 4 attacks, 2 up weapon skill, strength 8, -2, 2 damage. Nice. Bit better against the bigger guys. And then Mechadendrite Hive, extra attacks, 2d6, 3+, hitting on a 3+ with this, strength 4, 0 AP, 1 damage. The only thing about like them having, you know, we're talking about simple, not simplified, having different ballistic skills and weapon skills depending on the weapon, like, it does mean you're probably going to have to be looking a lot at the beginning when you're trying to remember, or what happened is a lot of mistakes will get made where you just like, oh yeah, he's a 2-up ballistic skill and weapon skill, but actually for that one weapon he's a 3-up weapon skill. So I do think mistakes are going to happen there. I wonder if characters don't get the Doctrine Imperative, or it's just Cool who doesn't. Oh yeah, he doesn't have the Doctrine Imperative ability. Good point, Rutavium. So, Canticles of the Omnissiah ability. At the start of the battle round, select one of the abilities in the Canticles of the Omnissiah section, C left. Until the start of the next battle round, this model has that ability. So he has 3 abilities to choose from. Aura, while a friendly Adeptus Mechanicus unit is within 6 inches of this model, each time a model makes an attack, reroll a hit roll of 1. So rerolls 1s to hit. It's nice. Mantra of Discipline. While a friendly Adeptus Mechanicus unit within 6 inches of this model, each time you take a battle, shock, or leadership test that in it, you can reroll the test. That's nice. That could be big if you stick him in the middle of a load of like Vanguard or Rangers. Shroud Psalm. While a friendly Adeptus Mechanicus unit within 6 inches model, that unit has the stealth ability. Do we know what the stealth ability is yet? Is it -1 to hit? Does anyone know? It's down to whether there are rules for Colt and Skitarii, if they're separate or together, because Colt never got the doctrines in 9th. Ah, yes, yeah, unless they were like Mars or something, wasn't it? Yeah, you're right. So it was just Skitarii. It's also remembering what each weapon keyword means and how they interact in rapid play games. Yes, I agree. You know, I mean, I think it won't be too bad once we've played a few games, like stuff like Devastating Wounds. You'll just sort of know what it does, and the same as like Sustained Fire and things like that. I think we will learn them as we go, but I still think you've still got to play regularly to remember all of that stuff. So, although they're trying to simplify the game, it's just very hard to simplify. And he gets a 4-up invulnerable save. Okay, Mechanicus Bodyguard. While this model is within 3 inches of one or more other friendly Adeptus Mechanicus units, this model has the Lone Operative ability. Which I assume the Lone Operative ability is basically, look out, sir. And while you're within 3 inches of a unit, you can't be shot at without a precision weapon, I should imagine. Self-repair mechanisms. At the start of your command phase, this model regains up to D3 lost wounds. That's really nice. Consider he's got 10 of them. Very good. Okay, weapon spotlight. The Eradicator beam. The Eradicator beamer, should I say. So you've got dissipated and focused. So dissipated is blast. Sustained hits D3. So D6 attacks. 36 inches range. 4+ ballistic skill. Strength 9, -2, 2 damage. So 6s will then get you extra hits. Yeah, I mean that's alright. Sometimes it will go off. And then we've got focused, which is sustained hits D3 blast as well. But this is okay. So the focus is a lot shorter range. 18-inch range, D6 shots, same amount of shots. Physical 4, strength 9, just a bit better AP and damage. AP 3 and damage 3. Okay. Strength 9. Yeah, I mean, it's alright. It's not amazing. The sustained hits. I mean, it's the D6 shots, to be honest. If they'd made that 4 shots, I'd be like, yeah, it's alright. You know, but it's the fact that it's so swingy. D6 shots is just too swingy. Strutavian said, yeah, it's the renamed Lookout Sir in terms of the bodyguard thing. Yeah, 18-inch Ollie with D6 shots. It's just like, oh. And then you roll a 1. And then you've got to cross your fingers hoping you roll a 6 to hit so you get the D3 extra shots. I mean, it's weird because they've sort of tried to make it more reliable by obviously putting the sustained hits in there, but you have to get, unless there's other ways to manipulate this, you have to get a 6 to hit to get sustained hits D3. So it feels like they're trying to make it more reliable, and maybe this works way better than I'm thinking it does. But you know, if you get 3 on average, you get like 3 or 4 shots, and then you might roll a 6, but you might not, you know. And then when you get a 2 and you don't roll a 6, it's like, oh. Ollie, Pat loves the D6. Yeah, love it. Harley, it's okay because potential of lots more shots and a marine killer. Yeah, but how much is there? How much potential does it have for lots more shots, you know? I mean, don't get me wrong, you can roll 2 6s off if you get 2 shots, and you roll 2 6s just real jammily, but I'm talking about the reliability of that is somewhat lacking. If you could get it on a 5+ sustained hits D3, then that would be, yeah, I'd be like, okay, yeah, great, you know, really nice gun. Okay, the stratagem spotlight. You play in your charge phase. The target is one Skatara unit from your army that advances this turn. Until the end of the turn, your unit is eligible to declare a charge even though it advanced this turn. Ooh. So that works well with the rule we saw before, which is the something gate, to get the 2+ to advance and charge. So that could be really nice. Although you have to be within 6 inches of the unit, so you sort of got to keep up with it. For the charge, I mean, if you advance off really far ahead, then you're not within 6 inches for the charge. Restrictions. You can only use a stratagem if Conqueror Imperative is active for your army. Okay, so they're making you go full attack mode with it. Okay, Bulwark Imperative. When your opponent's shooting phase, just after an enemy unit has selected its targets, one Skatara unit from your army that was selected as a target for one or more of that enemy unit's attacks effect until the end of the turn, models in your army have a 4+ invulnerable save. Seems strong. Okay, you can only use this strategy if the Protector Imperative is active for your army. Okay, I quite like that. There's some restrictions there. They're nice stratagems, but there are some restrictions in terms of you've got to be in this one, you've got to be in that one. It all depends on points and other weapons in the army. I totally agree, Harley. It does depend on points because, you know, it's like anything. If you can spam the eradication beamer, let's say, I don't know, let's just say it was on what the dudes calls destroyers or whatever, and then you can just stick, you can have spam a load of them, then yeah, like you're going to end up getting loads of shots. They'll be absolutely brutal. But I don't know if you can put them on warriors, because if you're putting them on this dude, which is the one with the 3 legs, the walker thing, I can't remember what it's called, but if you're sticking it on that, then it's a bit of a problem, isn't it? Like, if it's only, you can probably have 3 in the whole army. Because that thing can cost some. Harley, I love a 4+ invuln on 20 Skatari. Do we know you can have them in 20s? What does it say? Does it say 20s? Where does it say? Does it say numbers? They might have restricted you to 10, Harley. Then you'll be crying. That'll be interesting to see what they've done there, because I can't see anything to say you can have 10s or 20s, or maybe they just haven't put it on here. For 1 CP, I roll a D6 on a 5+, I get it back. Oh yeah, that is nice. So you can just keep using it over and over again, but you have got to be in the defensive mode for that one though. Okay. So let's have a look at the words from the studio, because sometimes they give away extra rules. The Doctrina Imperative Army rule keeps the feeling of an army of cyborg warriors influenced by their cult Mechanicus masters, but in a more simplified way than previous versions, explains Stu from the Warhammer design studio. Previous incarnations of the Adeptus Mechanicus have felt quite complex. Yeah, with a half-hour command phase just giving out buffs. Somewhat fitting for their mad genius rulers, but less good for us mere mortals playing them on the tabletop. It still represents the tech priest masters augmenting and adapting their warriors' abilities, and units have been designed to work together to give a diverse combined arms field to the forces of the machine god. My particular favourites are the Castellan robots, as they've kept their slightly clunky robot ways which rely on nearby data smiths to reprogram in mid-battle. Okay, so I'm assuming the robots, the Castellan robots, are probably going to be pretty brutal, but you're going to have to pay extra for like the data smiths, just so you can change their protocols and stuff like that. So it's a bit of a tax on them, and also if that data smith then gets sniped, that could be a problem as well, because your data smith's dead and then they can't change. But you might be able to hide him anyway. Hide him out the way. But yeah, interesting. Very interesting rules. I think Harley seems pretty happy with the rules. Drutavian said the squad sizes are on the back. I can't see the back though. Anyone? Yeah, interesting. Interesting. Okay, let's look at the gaunts. These new gaunts will make ghosts of your enemies. Right. So, what was that? Is it? The new Tyranid gaunts will make ghosts of your enemies. Barb gaunts. Okay, the Hive Mind loves some living artillery, from the spore mine firing Biovore to the mighty Exocrine. They've now got another beast to add to that list, the Barb gaunts. I don't know why I want to call them Barb gaunts. And they're biocannons, which are actually the brains of the outfit, literally. So, biocannon is blast and heavy, so it will be +1 to hit. So although the ballistics 4, if they stay still, they'll be ballistic skill 3. D6 attacks, more D6 attacks. We love it, don't we? 24-inch range, strength 5, 0p, 1 damage. Okay. I mean, they've got blast. Disruption bombardment. In your shooting phase, after this unit is shot, if an enemy infantry unit was hit by one or more of those attacks made by this unit's biocannon, until the end of your opponent's next turn, that enemy unit is disrupted. While a unit is disrupted, subtract 2 from its move characteristic and 2 from the advance and charge. That's going to be brutal against melee armies. That is going to really suck. And it doesn't even say like fly ignores it or anything. So that's interesting. Although, what's this little bit here? So look at what they say here. Where is it? Barbara Gaunt. Oh, okay. So that's really nice. Right? Really nice rule. I can see that being really hard to play against if you're a melee army. So you're going to have to hide from them bad boys. I'm glad they can't shoot out of line of sight, because that would be so brutal that it would be OP. But yeah, at least they've got to get line of sight, and then they might just be able to slow you down a little bit. Well, that's terrible. Just split fire against a whole army. Yeah, I agree. Well, no, well, yeah. I mean, it depends how many you've got and how much they are. But yeah, you're right. You could have, say, if you've got 5, you just put, each one puts its D6 shots into a different unit, so you could slow 5 units down. You have got to hit them, but I mean, shouldn't be too bad. Drutavian, I'm glad disruption wasn't another battle shock weapon. Yeah, when I was reading it, I was like, oh no, it's battle shock, but it's not, which is good. Okay, Neurogaunts. These little critters scuttle across the battlefield in massed swarms, each carrying a parasitic neurocyte upon their backs. Individually, they may not seem up to much, but a big enough unit may be able to drag down a space marine or two. Okay. Neurogaunts. Movement 6, toughness 3, 6 up save, so they're dying pretty easy. 1 wound, leadership 8+, and then OC 1. I'm imagining these are going to be cheap as. 1 attack, weapon skill 4, strength 3, 0 P, 1 damage. Yeah, I mean, these are going to be real shit. While this unit is within synapse range of your army, it has the synapse keyword. Okay. So then, does that then spread and... I can't remember, how does synapse work again? Is it still an aura? Because that would be nice if they then spread the aura as well. You could have them sitting on objectives just spreading that aura out. They may look like a bayonet or shovel fodder, but they have a little trick up their spindly chitinous sleeves. They can increase the synapse range of your leader beasts, such as Hive Tyrant and Winged Tyranid Prime. It turns out those weird things on their backs are synaptic conduits. I mean, again, this all depends on points, because you know, maybe they're really needed, but I'm thinking maybe you just use the points to put towards another synapse creature that's actually useful. What do you guys think? I'm going to hit the barbs with swarms of potentially monsters. Synapse is a crucial keyword in the new edition, as we explained in the recent Tyranny faction focus. It makes you much more likely to pass battle shock tests, so your other bioforms such as Horospecs and Termagants can hold on to the crucial objectives. Yeah, I mean, I get it, and I understand that you're using it to spread the range. I'm just thinking, it all depends on how much points they are. I mean, if they're like 3 points a model, if they are, that would be crazy. But, yeah. Because other than, well, from what we can see, because this isn't their full data sheet, but other than spreading synapse, they don't appear to be doing much else. From other talking points about the Neurogaunts, people are taking it that they attach to leaders and become a wound pool too. Okay, that could be better. Yeah. If that's true, Drutavian, then you can take them as like a little bodyguard unit, and then they're just spreading out like you can then string them out and maybe hold objectives with them and spread that synapse. So yeah, that would be actually alright. We'll have to see. This is the problem with these faction focuses, and not just, I mean, and then obviously we'll have a look at the Gaunts because they're new models, but they only give you like a certain amount of rules, so sometimes things can appear a lot better or a lot worse than they actually are, which is hard when you're trying to work out, you know, what's good and what's not in the new edition. I mean, we can see some things like, for instance, the Oath of Moment is extremely good, but that's easy to see that that's good. But, for instance, with the Necrons, they appear quite weak. However, we haven't seen all of the other rules coming from the reanimators, coming from the ghost arcs, coming from the characters, and that's the other thing. We haven't seen very many characters at all, really. We've seen some of the big dudes like Gulliman and Belisarius Cawl, who do seem to have half decent rules, but it's nothing like, you know, it's not. They're not really like the little. We haven't seen that many of the little buffing characters, which is what I want to see. You know, I want to see the Chronomancer, I want to see the Technomancer, I want to see the Overlord. This is for Necrons, obviously. You know, I want to see like the Tech Priests. What do they do? What do the other little, like the Marshal and the other things? I want to see what these guys do. Drutarian says, yet we can't always believe what the script writers are saying as they aren't the rule writers. 100%. So it is hard to sort of... you almost got to take it like, okay, that's that, but this could... Say, for instance, this weapon profile. Where is it? Well, we could take this weapon profile. For example, range 24 inches. Now, we don't know if there's anything that can increase that range. Not that 24 inches is necessarily bad, but we don't know. D6 shots. I mean, obviously, blast would make that more reliable, but we don't know if there's anything else that can make that more reliable. You know, like some character that, or a stratagem that says, you know, you get max shots or half, at least half or whatever. Ballistic Skill 4 obviously gets better with heavy, but we don't know of any other characters. I don't think I've seen any other characters. There might be characters that give you rerolls. I'm sure there is somewhere. But, that, you know, they might be able to be used in this unit. They might not. Strength 5, there might be things that can increase the strength, increase the AP. Maybe things that can increase the damage, which we've seen in the past with Tyranids. So, you might look at this and go, yeah, it's alright. But it actually could be brutal. And you could see people running 15 of them just like, bah, 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 you know. And the same with the gaunts. We don't know if they're with certain characters. Do these characters give them something? Like, for instance, they're neuro gaunts. So if you put them with maybe a neurothrope, is that going to then start making them exponentially better? Do they, you know, suddenly get 6 attacks each? You know, a bit like the crypto thralls when they're near, when they were near a cryptech, they'd get double the amount of attacks. Well, that's huge. I mean, obviously, even that really. I mean, if you've got 20 of these gaunts and they've got 1 attack each, that's 20 attacks. If they've got 2 attacks each, that's 40 attacks. That's a big difference, you know. That's a lot more wounds going through. So it's sort of, we're looking at these little slices of the pie of the rules, and we're trying to extrapolate what's good and what's not, but it's actually really difficult. Because, for instance, Space Marines, we've seen a couple of characters of Space Marines. Now, they've got Oath of Moment, which is super strong. I don't think anyone is questioning how strong that rule is. However, so far from what we've seen of their characters, they don't actually look amazing. Like, they're not giving that much in terms of buffs. I mean, Gilliman look good, but I'm talking about the little buffing characters. Your captains, like, I can't remember what was shown. It was a there was a librarian shown, which I was like, meh. It was very, I don't think I'd even take him unless something seriously changes with his profile. Like, in terms of, it's just that smite thing is like, depends how much he is, whether you even warrant putting him in your army. Or, maybe when the Space Marine Codex comes out, you get to choose the powers. Maybe there's a choice of powers and you get to choose one. That would be preferable. Because, I mean, I looked at the librarian, I thought, I don't know why I'd take him. Does anyone else feel that way about the librarian that we saw? I'm sort of hoping that, you know, the Grey Knights and Thousand Suns, like, Psychic's it's their gig, innit? So I'm hoping that they don't all just, I'm hoping they get some choice and it's just not boring and, you know, it would be sad. But yeah, so I'm sort of, I want to see these smaller characters in sort of some of these armies where I think, like Necrons, like Votann, like Admech, they've got like buffing characters. Their characters are meant to like really do something for, because the characters aren't good. They don't go and kill stuff, so they need to like buff stuff. and this is what I want to see. I want to see these character buffing rules, because I think characters can really change an army, and I think no army in 9th showed that off more than Admech. Like, you put Admech on the table without any characters, it was like, meh, it's alright. You put the character buffs on, start putting character buffs on them big units, and obviously there's a couple of strats as well, but then they became brutal, and I think they became a lot more durable, a lot more brutal, so I think I'm really interested to see. Definitely want the Necron guys to have had a glow up to make up for the Warriors' leadership, etc. Yeah, I mean, there's got to be a rule in there, isn't there? There's got to be a rule. I think they even might have mentioned it, actually, about attaching when they're attached to a leader. Because it just seems like a real big turnaround to make the whole army like have pretty much one of the highest leaderships, I think, apart from the Adeptus Custodes in the game. And then have a massive turnaround on that when in 10th edition, like, it seemed a strange thing. But, you know, maybe we've got to rely on characters a little bit more for our leadership, even though it seems that we're going to have to rely on characters a lot. And that's why it's going to be a problem when we're looking at things like, where is it? Down here. Things like this with the Precision Arquebus. You know, Strength 7, assuming our characters are going to, well, the Necron characters are going to be of a similar, you know, Toughness 4, maybe 5. Well, this is Strength 7 -2 D3 damage. I mean, it's only one shot, but if you've got a few units of them in, if our characters are that, what's the word? Important to, if it's really the backbone of our army, and you've got a load of like decent snipers, you could just get beaten before you even, you know, or you're having to try and hide the characters so you can't move out. So I'm hoping that the characters, especially the Chronomancer, the Cryptex, I'm hoping the Cryptex are a little bit more durable than they were in the last edition. Well, the NIDs can have the precision keyword as the army rule. What, all of them? Let's go and have a look at the NIDs faction focus. See if this works. Okay, Tyranids. We'll quickly run through these. If your faction is Tyranids, well, Tyranids unit from your army 6 inches of one or more Synap models from your army, that unit is said to be within Synap range of your army. Each time a Tyranids unit from your army takes a battle shock test that is within Synap range, 3d6 instead of 2d6. Really good rule. I like it. Necrons need something like that. Maybe that is what we will have. Something along those lines. Okay, Shadow in the Warp. If your army faction is Tyranids, once per battle, in either player's command phase, if one or more units from your army is with this ability are on the battlefield, you can unleash the Shadow in the Warp. When you do, each enemy unit on the battlefield takes a battle shock test. Really good, love it. Gene Stealers, they've got a scout move, so they can move 8 inches. So, movement 8, T4, 5 up save, 2 wounds, 7 up leadership, and 1 OC. Quite nice, move quite well. They've got 4 attacks each, which you'd expect with forearms. Strength, weapon skill 2, strength 4, -2, 1 damage. I think that's a solid profile. And then they have the Vanguard Predator rule, which is each time model in the unit makes an attack, you can reroll a wound roll of 1. If they're in range of an objective marker, you can reroll the wound roll instead. So they're going to be brutal at taking stuff off objectives. Okay, the Swarm Lord. Movement 8, T10. 2 up save, wounds 10, 7 up leadership, 3 OC. Synaptic Pulse. Range 18, D6 plus 3, which is Psychic. Oh, so this is the Psychic thing. And Torrent. That's a Psychic Flamer weapon. Auto hits. Wow. Strength 5, -1, 2 damage. And then we've got the Barbed Sabers. Bone Sabers, sorry. Twin linked. So they're re-rolling the wounds. Attacks 8, weapon skill 2, strength 9, AP 2, damage 3. I mean, he's brutal. He's gonna mess stuff up. Deadly Demise D3 and leader abilities. Hive Commander. At the start of your command phase, if this model is in the battlefield, you gain 1 CP. Malign Presence. Once per battle after your opponent uses a stratagem, you increase the stratagem's cost by 1. So every time you use that, it's 1. It's like, so if it was 1 CP, every time you use it, it's now 2 CP. Domination of the Hive Mind. While a friendly Tyrannus unit is within 9 inches of this model, within your army's synapse range. Sorry, while a friendly Tyrannus unit is within 9 inches of this model. Okay, so it increases the synapse range by 3 inches. Very nice. Okay, Rupture Cannon, 40-inch range, 2 attacks, 3 up ballistic skills, strength 18, -4, 2d6 damage. Nice. That's a good profile from what we've seen of the heavy weapon, of the big weapons. We'll be hitting on 3s if it stays still. Hitting on 2s if it stays still, sorry. Endless Swarm. You basically get D3 plus 3 destroyed models back. Up to 2 Endless Multitude units from your army are within synapse range of your army, or 1 other Endless Multitude unit from your army. You get up to D3 plus 3 destroyed models back. Nice. Word from the studio. We were keen to bring the unnatural alien horror in this edition, besides an utterly terrifying foes. This leads to Shadow in the Warp, causing worldwide panic. Battlefield-wide panic, sorry. Bioactivity. So where's the precision thing? Everyone can get precision. Well, the NIDs can have precision keyword as the army rule. Where does it say that? Have I missed something? Maybe it was on something else. Ah, is it on this hyper adaptions thing? I reckon it must be on the hyper adaptions. Yeah, well, brutal. So, I think I'm going to leave the stream there. Thank you for watching. Like I said, we have got a Discord in the description, so come along and join that. And yeah, hope you enjoyed watching, and I'll be back on Wednesday at 3 PM.